and then walk through the program. And then this is really a call for you guys to answer any questions you might have about the program. Some of you might have spoken with our recruiter, Kendra, already, but yeah.
Again, we're happy to have you here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about workforce and community programs at Arapahoe Community College. I imagine many of you are familiar with our website because that's probably how a lot of you got here. But we are a division of workforce of Arapahoe Community College that is non-credit. So we work with vendors to offer online and in-person personal enrichment and workforce development programs. We have started our partnership with Prominio Tech last year. We've run one cohort of programs already, which have been successful. We're very excited to be partnering with them to offer affordable coding boot camps. That takes 18 weeks, so it's fast and affordable way for students to gain entry-level positions in coding.
All right, and I'll go ahead and get started. My name's Nick Bearclaw. So my background's in IT staffing, so I've placed hundreds of developers throughout the years. Joined Prominio a little over a year ago. Kind of saw the rise of the bootcamp industry in the past 8 to 10 years really take off. Our mission is affordable, accessible IT education. So we partner mainly with community colleges. The average coding bootcamp cost is $13,584 if you've done some research. And our mission is to make them more affordable to the student. So just a little bit about our bootcamp specifically. We have a curriculum advisory board that's looked over our curriculum. It's made up of CTs and VPs and CTOs of some of the bigger tech companies in the Phoenix market. And essentially it's built for entry-level programming. And what we've heard from them is that when they hire entry-level positions, they're either hiring specifically for front or back-end development. You'll see the full stack get thrown out a lot, but what we did was we broke our curriculum. Since it's a shorter boot camp, it's 18-week, we broke it up because we'd rather have you be more specialized on one end or the other going into a technical interview. In the bootcamp industry, bootcamps have become very recognized. So getting past the technical interview is a big part of where a lot of people fall short in taking a full stack class. So really specializing on one or the other, we feel helps put you in a better position to get a job. And in an entry-level role, really what these employers are hiring are problem solvers. So this program is really designed for a lot of critical thinking and to help you become a problem solver. I'll go over a little later. There's career services built into the course. Since it's a career-focused course, there are 9 career-based assignments. So every other week, you'll be doing an assignment that's going to start to prep you for getting a job. For career services, as you come towards the end of the boot camp, we're here if you want to reach out to the career services team. We'll do interview prep for you before you go on an interview and help if you need help writing your resume, anything like that. That's an assignment throughout the course, but we're happy to review your resume and make sure it's ready before you start applying to jobs. The rise of boot camps, there's about 65,000 computer science grads a year, and there's now 45,000 boot camp graduates throughout the US. So when boot camps first came out, there was about 2,000 graduates 8 to 10 years ago. So it's become extremely industry recognized. It's geared to help adults looking to reskill, or if you're just starting out, gain entry-level employment. If you look at the US, you can go on any job board at any given time, there's around 500,000 open computing positions. It's estimated by next year, there'll be a shortage of 1.4 million software developers. So just as technology just increases the amount and the need for developers, it just increases every year. And it's the highest industry in terms of growth, with a projected growth rate of 21% through 2028, which is faster than any other occupation. So the average base salary, if you look at all these positions here, this is the average base salary of a Java developer, a software engineer, back-end developer, app developer, front-end developer. So anywhere from that 85 typically to 110 range, those are more mid to senior level positions. After you have a couple of years usually under your belt. Our graduates have found an average of 62,000 right out of the boot camp, and it's ranged anywhere from 45 to 85,000 for most people that have gone through our program. And most of that's in the Phoenix market, but Denver's pretty comparable, maybe a little higher, I'd expect. But as you can see, the amount of openings, Denver's a very strong tech market, 567 Java openings, almost 1,500 software engineers, 1,000 app developers, and then the back end, the specialized positions, almost 200 and 140. So all those are positions you can apply for out of the boot camp. The back end in Java is more focused on the back end, but front end you may apply to a front end, an app developer, a software engineer. All those fall with the jobs you're going to be applying to as you graduate the boot camp. So just to go over the program specifics, it is 18 weeks. You need zero, it's built for people with zero coding experience. If you have some coding experience, that's great. But really no need for coding experience. Classes, and they are Wednesday, correct? Is that? Just to double check.
They're going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Sorry, so that's I didn't update this slide.
That's okay.
So Tuesdays and Thursdays will be back end, and one will be front end. It's from 7 to 8:30 at night. So that hour and a half is live instructor training. We use a flipped education teaching model. So what that means is the school week begins on Sunday. You get access to the curriculum for the following week. And we have a lot of pre-recorded videos. So what you do is you actually start watching your video, start learning the material before you get to class. That way, when the instructor has that hour and a half with you each week, they can really give a micro-tailored lecture and drive home the concepts you've already started to learn versus just delivering all the content in that class time. In addition to that, we do have 30-minute one-on-one mentor meetings you can book each week. We have a bench of mentors, and what they do is they share their Calendly links. And each week, if you want additional help, you can book a one-on-one meeting. We actually just recently rolled out office hours as well. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I believe, are our office hours. And they are varying right now. We're getting student feedback on when the best times to hold office hours are. But that's an open Zoom meeting. There'll be someone there, and you can join that if you need any additional help. Your cohort will also be connected on Slack. So everyone on the cohort, whether you're in back end or front end, you'll be in Slack, which is basically a messaging tool. So we find a lot of students work, they message each other throughout the week. You can submit questions. The instructors will also be on there. They jump in. Most of our instructors are full-time software developers that teach in the evenings. And then, like I said, there's career services assignments. So there's 9 career service assignments. Those are every other week. And it starts from setting up your LinkedIn, posting to LinkedIn, creating flashcards for interviews, creating an elevator pitch, writing your resume, a number of different career-based assignments that are going to prepare you for the job search. Both programs are 3 6-week courses. The back end starts with Java. It's Introduction to Java. You'll learn Java, object-oriented programming, design patterns, and a little bit of testing. Then it moves to relational databases with MySQL and web API design with Spring Boot, which is really a critical part of the course. That's where most back-end employers have said that they'd like to see back-end people learn web API design with Spring Boot. And at the end of this, in both courses, you will be doing a capstone project that'll basically tie everything together. The front-end course is Intro to JavaScript. Same thing, you'll learn algorithms, object-oriented programming. It's essentially a mirrored course with the front-end technologies, so HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and then web API design. So that's React.js, which is the predominant front-end technology that most companies are on right now. The other one's Angular, but React's kind of taken over the market in the past 3 or 4 years. So other than that, just a couple things to add on. There is, if any of you have heard of GitHub, you'll get access to GitHub week 1. That's where you'll actually store your code. That's something you'll show to employers. And then in addition to that, that final project is a hands-on project. The back-end program, I guess in terms of really the back-end program is what goes on behind the scenes of computer, pulling data, tying systems together. The front end is more visual. So what you see on the actual computer screen, say you're on Facebook, the actual buttons you're clicking is going to be more of the front end. It's a little more visual. So the back end program, when you do that capstone project, that's typically going to be, but the easiest way to, I think, describe it would be, say you're building a hotel management or reservation system. The back-end system may be a system where you're inputting all the customer data, your address, your phone number, credit card, that type of thing. Whereas the front end may be what you're actually seeing on the screen, going to click your, your reservation and the actual web page of the hotel. And this program is really built for critical thinking. So instead of a program where it's going to give you steps A, B, C gets to D, it's going to be more like here's a brick and here's some mortar. Here are the concepts of a brick and mortar. Now go build a wall. And then once you've built a wall, then go build a room and then a house. So that's really how we jam everything, and not jam, but how we teach everything within 18 weeks and get you up to speed for where you need to be for an entry-level role. I guess I'll just stop there and we can kind of move straight to questions.
Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions. If you're unable to unmute or uncomfortable asking, please go ahead and type it and we'll address questions from the chat box. If not, feel free just to unmute and ask any questions that you might have.
Sure. Hi everyone. I had a question. And so, well, actually, I think I have a few questions. And my first question is, as far as testing, and I did hear some API testing in there, some unit testing and things of that nature. Will this course get somewhat involved in some of the testing? I heard you speak on, building everything up from scratch and understanding a lot of the basics. But I guess I'm looking to stay in on the software support, maybe develop somewhat, because for some reason I've just been a software support engineer, but now everything's really moving more into code and more into code. So a lot of what I do is application testing, and I need to understand a little bit more, get more into JavaScript and Java and things of that nature, SQL. So how much of the course will be in understanding maybe Charles proxy or API testing or APIs itself is my question.
That's a good question. I wish my colleague Nick was here as well. He's a little bit better on the curriculum side of things, but I know most of our students use Postman for testing.
Okay.
Does that, it's not super in-depth. It's not a, automated testing course. It's
Sure.
basically you test your code on your project, and it kind of gives you the foundations. But Postman is what I've seen most of our students use when they're doing their final project.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And yeah, I was just trying to kind of understand how much in depth that is, and from overall understanding the whole architecture on when you build, building an application to developing either front end or back end. I think that's kind of the focus I wanted to really get in there. I mean, I want to learn. I also want to understand how to build, but also want to understand, if something breaks, these are the types of tools that we can use. Just because there are so many, I heard you talk about all the different jobs that you were talking about, but there's so many different jobs that that have to do with code development, but and development, front end or back end, but also from a support standpoint, and now from a DevOps standpoint. So a lot of this I do need for sure, because I'm more of a DevOps support guy for sure. So cool.
And if you want to email me too on the side, I can get you a much more in-depth kind of answer on what you're looking for there.
Okay.
And this is Santiago, what comes up as Santiago's iPhone?
Yeah. That's
okay.
Right.
I'll go ahead and send you Nick's email into the chat as well.
Okay. Awesome. Appreciate
But
that.
yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I'm just there. You're right. There's a lot of jobs out there, and I just, need, with about 6 or 7 of these skills, I'm getting level to a whole different, position. So this is good.
If you're already in your type of role, this is like kind of the next perfect step up, right?
Yep. No, that's all I had. So cool. Awesome. If you can send me that info, that'd be great.
Sure. Are there other questions? Feel free to unmute or to put them into chat.
Is my audio coming in?
It is. We can hear you.
All right, cool. What's up, everybody? My name's Ramo.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us.
Definitely good to be here. I was gonna say, so say you have a class that starts on November 17th. How soon do you have access to that curriculum, or kind of to start things off, so to speak?
Usually 2 days before class, you get a Slack login, and then you have your LMS login. I can also send you a syllabus too, if you want
Cool.
a real
Sweet.
in-depth version of every week. And then that first class is orientation. So usually in the orientation, you'll be downloading a number of, there's 5 main tools you're going to download throughout the course. There's a lot of small downloads. I think it all equivalates to like 360 megabytes off the top of my head. But that actually leads me into the next thing. The only thing you need for the course is a computer with an i5 processor and 8 gigabytes of RAM. And then obviously internet. It is helpful if you have a second monitor or large primary monitor. So we have had people just take it on a regular laptop, but if you have access to that second monitor, it is a little easier if when you're attending class, if you want to have all your coding and assignments and stuff pulled up, and then be watching the lecture video as well. And then we do record every lecture as well. So if you have to miss a class for some reason, you can go back and watch the video. And we do recommend, if you do have to miss a class for any reason, what you can actually do is submit your questions to the instructor before that class, and then they'll answer them during that time, and you can go back and watch that video.
Sweet.
What's really awesome from my standpoint about this program is that the class time is super valuable, in that you've done a lot of the work throughout the week, and then it's really the instructor's there to help and to answer questions and to show people, you know, examples of things that they've questioned throughout the week or maybe had a difficult time. And I think that it's great that they're recorded, but it's also always going to be a good use of time. It's not necessarily where sometimes you're like, oh man, I have to go and sit and listen to a lecture. It's going to be more hands-on, more explanations. Generally, you know, if someone has a question, more than one people have a question, and that's really going to be a time that's focused for what the students have, you know, what they need from the week and what they've learned from working through their materials.
Yeah, with the flipped model, it's not your traditional class where usually you show up, an instructor kind of gives you all the content during that class time. You've already started to learn everything. So it's really driven to where you start learning the material, and then the instructor kind of gauges where everyone's at in the beginning of class. And then they can really tailor that lecture and that class time to where you actually need the most help and, you know, where most of your questions are, to make sure you're understanding all the concepts.
We did have a question. If you miss a class during the holiday season, are you penalized? You're not penalized for missing a class, but I do believe, and I need to confirm, but that the holiday session would be a break as well.
Yeah.
It's built
So
in.
yeah, we have a break. I believe it's Thanksgiving week is a break. Christmas and New Year's are both breaks. So that actually gives you those 3 weeks. You typically have an extra week to catch up, but those are weeks off where there's no actual class.
Mm-hmm. And as
then,
Nick mentioned, all classes are recorded. So if you do have to miss a class for a reason, you can review that lecture at a later date. That's, you know, better for you.
and then there is, so each week too, there are LinkedIn posts. So one other thing just to mention is that if you go follow Prominio on LinkedIn, you'll see a lot of these student posts. It's really just starting to help you build out some content for when you're going to apply to a job. If you are in a position where you don't want your employer know you're taking this class and looking for another job, that can be waived. But we do highly recommend the LinkedIn posts as well.
Also, I had an additional question. I never seen the cost. What's the breakdown for the cost? And can you go through that?
Yes, so the class is $3,950. It is due at the time of registration. That being said, there is a financing option available through Climb, which is a vendor that, or a lending service. And you can find that information on our website.
Okay, sweet.
And I'll type that in here. And if you click on the see finance options, you are able to use Climb's, what do you call it? Like application right online. And generally most people will have their results within 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like a very mission student driven lender as well. So
Cool.
And they believe heavily in workforce training programs. So we're very
I had a
excited.
question. Can you like split the financing? Like if I get 2,000 down, I could just ask them for 2,000 or whatever, or the 1,950 balance. Can you do that?
I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I could make that work for you. If you wanted to just do the financing for a portion, we could likely figure out a split payment between Prominio Tech and us.
Okay.
So we can definitely try the workaround for that. It would be the first time that we did it. It might take us a day to figure out, but we can get it done for you for sure.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions? Oh, is there a good success rate for course finishing and getting employment?
Yes, so 83% of our students have found jobs. Success rate is pretty high on occasion. Someone may drop if it's just not for them, but most people, would say, graduate the class. You do need to complete all your assignments, the final project, but it's really a course. This course is designed to get you a job. So usually once people are in, they're pretty dedicated. We want you to succeed. So in the boot camp industry in general, I think Course Report has 80% of students across the country finding jobs.
I
But
think although
but
the program is a little bit, I mean, it's 18 weeks, so it might seem like, wow, that's some dedication, and it is, it absolutely is, but it's 18 weeks. So it's, you know, there's other programs out there that do exist that might be a semester or might be 2 years, but they, Promenio Tech has worked to create a program that is designed through the projects and through the LinkedIn and through the career services to really get students not only knowledgeable with the work, but also to provide that last piece, that career service piece. And I think that's really, really valuable in a program like this.
Yeah, it's actually fast, to be honest with you. That's some of the ones I've looked at.
Yeah.
Real fast. Can you share the financing company you were talking about on the chat, please?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, if you go to, can I take over the screen share?
oh yeah,
I'm gonna pull up, thank you. I'm gonna pull up our website for you and I can show you. And I put this link into the site. So give me just a second and I'll share my screen. All right, so if you go to this main site here and you click on financing options available,
Okay.
this will take you directly to the Climb site where you can fill out your application.
Okay, cool.
And it looks like they have customer service 9 to 9 Eastern, and you can do chat or give them a call if you need to. But the results are fairly quick, and they've got reviews on their website. And, like Nick said, it's an educational financing department that focuses heavily on workforce development type programs that is really a necessity for workforce programs that are a little bit non-traditional as far as higher education, because as some of you know, you've probably looked into it, you can't get FAFSA options for programs like this. Hopefully someday that'll change in the future as career training gets to be more and more common, and we're certainly seeing more of that. But Climb has taken that lead in workforce training and workforce development programs through their financing.
Any other questions anyone has about the course, anything like that?
So classes do start the 17th with the front end on Tuesdays, and then the back end starts November 19th, so that's a Thursday. You can register on the website if you have any questions as you're going through that process, or if anything comes up, if you sleep on it tonight and something comes up tomorrow, we are here to help you in any way that we can to get you ready and set up for the course. But again, if you have anything for us now, feel free to type it into the chat, or go ahead and unmute, and we're here to answer your questions while we can, or anything you need.
I just put my email into the chat if you guys have anything that comes up after this, and just go ahead, feel free to email me any questions as well.
Favorite Halloween candy? At this point, I don't even have a favorite because I've been eating way too much. But I would say probably before that it was peanut butter M&Ms. I got a lot left over this year, guys. It's probably bad. There was a question. So you said it didn't count as credit. If I want to go to college in the future, will anything transfer over? Now that is going to depend a little bit on each individual college. Arapahoe Community College is working with our technology department to issue kind of a PLA, which is prior learning assessment. I do know that a lot of colleges do offer things like that. So it would be, at our school, I can't speak for others, but there's different ways that sometimes you can get credit transferred in for programs. Some of that would be showing your portfolio or showing work knowledge, and then having that assessed to determine credits. So Nick, do you have any schools and that you've worked with who have allowed that? Or
some are working to get that as a pathway, but nothing right as of now.
Okay.
But yeah, some of them are starting to work on that.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of actually leads me to one other thing as well. Most of you have probably taken the practice assessment, which is that 10 question assessment from the webpage. There is a secondary assessment that we'd like you to take before you enroll in the class. It's called the Wonderlic assessment. It's a cognitive ability assessment. There's just a minimum score. It's similar type questions to that practice assignment you filled out, but that one's 50 questions. It's 8 minutes, so it's timed. So when you take it, you can just email me and ask me to take the assessment. If you've spoken with Kendra, our recruiter, she may have sent it to you. But that one, just don't have any distractions. And then if you get stuck on a question, just skip it and move on to the next one. Most people complete anywhere from 20 to 30 of the questions on that assessment.
Someone said they think they got 26 on the Wonderlic a while back.
Yep. So the minimum passing score on the Wonderlic is 16. So
Good
as
job.
long as you get over 16.
Are there any other questions that we can help with? If not, you've got our email, you've got the web address, and we'll be available anytime to answer any questions or to provide any additional links or info that we can.
What's the latest they can apply to still get into the class?
We will take a registration up until the day of class, but we would prefer if those registrations came in at least 2 to 3 days in advance so that we can send you the information that you need to be ready to log in and have everything on your computer set up for that first day. Sometimes, I mean, we're not going to turn you away, but in order to be best prepared for the class, if we could get you registered about at least 2 days in advance, I think you'd have enough time to get set up and prepared for that first day.
Yeah, and that'll give you some time to go in and kind of see the structure. It's essentially the way it's laid out. So we use Moodle, and then when you log in, there's your video recordings and then class recordings. And then each week there's a research discussion, a coding assignment, a quiz, a LinkedIn post, and every other week there's a career service assignment. No problem, and feel free to reach out if anything comes up.
Yeah, we're definitely here to help. Right, well, if there's no additional questions, we will go ahead and end our call. I want to say thanks to Nick because he is visiting family and he is on the Eastern time zone, so it's really late there. So we appreciate you joining us at almost 10 o'clock at night. And we both look forward to hearing from you guys soon. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out. Our links are in the chat, and y'all found your way here. So worst case, reach out on the website for help, and we'll get back to you via that way as well. So, all right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.